and welcome everybody to the losers bracket final of Server 42 with Built Different plus Raj versus Skeletal in a best of 5 series. Joining me tonight on the cast, I do have Zenlot. How's it going, my dude?
Hello. How are you doing, Crimson?
Not doing too
I'm all
bad.
good.
So, I just need to fix the scoreboards here for a second. If you want to talk about the drafts for a second.
Yeah, so the bans are going up very quick, and there's a lot of what seem like focus bans. I know the Swain has been running rampant against a lot of the more unfamiliar bot lanes since it abuses a lot of the shorter range carries, especially or immobile carries like Jin and stuff like that have been going in.
Yeah.
And then the other bans are like super well, no, the Kazakhs is must be super directed. The Victor, the Hecarim are staples of mid and jungle,
Yeah.
as well as the Shen
Yep.
and the Graves. So the Kazakhs and the Swain are the super directed bands. Get two of the strongest junglers coming in straight away. Probably the top two in the game at the moment. The Udyr first pick right into the Senna Lilia. So they're gonna answer with they should answer with the bot lane here, because they know it's gonna be the Senna, and it's very unlikely to be fasting Senna, so you're pretty much guaranteeing it's going into the hands of Ted Blonde.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He has played like a decent amount of it so far with the new build. Obviously,
Cracking into Rageblade.
Kraken and Rageblade, which obviously gives her like a lot of shred.
Yes.
So see what ends up happening
The
there. Lilia also picks
Heimerdinger.
for Clinto, which is really nice. It's like obviously probably the strongest jungler at the moment, pre jungle nerf. Um, so we'll see how if Clinto can use this to pop off with. We have seen Krusty Pants before pop off with the Udyr himself. Has been had like very strong objective control with it. So interested to see how this kind of match goes, because definitely predetermined expectations. I wouldn't have put Clinto up there. He was definitely kind of auto-filled into jungle in a sense. But he's definitely stepped up, especially in the last series. He had like a huge performance. So I'm interested to see if he can kind of carry that on here.
They're not expecting the Heimerdinger mid, I guess. Because with the Echo ban going out, which I don't really know why you're banning something like even Echo when you're picking the Malzahar, because the Malzahar it neutralizes the lane. You just
Yeah.
both farm the wave and you walk away.
Like Doppler definitely has played the Echo and the Victor. Those have been like his main champions before. Maybe they think the Heimerdinger is going top lane perhaps into SLB's hands.
I was thinking even ADC into Cormico.
Yeah, I don't know how much Heimerdinger plays. He's kind of stuck to the like traditional AD carries for the most part.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not too sure myself where exactly this is all going. The Heimer could be a placeholder too, and they just haven't told us. So hopefully not the case. But we'll wait and see.
So we have our other bands coming in. Tristana, super safe ADC. Again, it's like one of the safest because of her rocket jump and her ore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Brown Morgana, which I think you almost want. Oh, they've shown the Nautilus, but I don't think the Brown Morgana are the biggest things to take away. I don't think they put a super big dampener.
Is Damn Squib's like it's his like main champion, so they're trying to set him off comfort as much as possible. Morgana, I don't know if he's played a lot of it, but obviously it gives a lot of safety for Senna, especially against something like the Nautilus.
Yes.
So now we're just trying to deny that as much as possible. Let's see now, Cormico hovering 80 carries.
There is a scary amount of magic damage on the side of the Clinto's team. So it's like the Doppler's team it does encourage them to get a lot of MR and Merc trades at the moment. And they only have their support to show. So they're really trusting in Ted Blonde to do a lot of work in the Senna right now. Because Senna is like annoying, but it doesn't have the most consistent, and like it doesn't have the highest DPS in a fight. And then even more, like there should be 5 Merc trades coming out on the side of Boppler's team. there's no excuse not to have an MR item on every member of the team.
Yeah. So just
Uh,
trying to take in like both the comps as a whole. I like a lot of the setup that built different plus Raj here on the red side. There's like a lot of team fighting, a lot of pick potential. Not a lot of DPS as such. Like in terms of like pure objective shredding. Like okay, actually maybe Lillian Malzahar burn maybe helps you if you're trying to go for something like the
yes.
Baron. But in terms of like actually it's like sieging a tower, it's not as great. Um, and then it's kind of a lot of skirmish power here from Skeletal, which is who are on the blue side here.
I,
Um,
yeah, they're looking really. I think a lot of focus will be on the Camille once because there's really not a great amount of time where Ornn can deal with Camille, especially later in the game when she gets an item or two. She's just going to start killing him on cooldown when she gets that.
yep.
He just can't survive it, and then it seems to be like some kind of maybe 1-3-1 where you have Ezreal Heimerdinger hold the lanes and then Camille or hold the objectives and then Camille just runs rampant on the other side of the map.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
hope SLB does not go ignite TP. You don't need it in this lane. You beat the Ornn without the ignite. Um, so yeah, it's like, but then Udyr does fairly well into this comp because they're all fairly short range, and he can get in on a lot of them. So if he plays it correctly, because other than the Senna, they don't have the short range, he can do a lot of damage in the fights as well. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
it's
So we
it
set up the.
seems to be a, go ahead.
Wait, that's not bets. Ah, god damn it. One second. Where are the bets gone? Alright, I might have to set it up after this one. Talkie, because I do not know how to get it going. Where are predictions? Bear with me, guys. I've not done this particular part before. Here we go. Alright, apologies guys, should be up there now. But yep. While that people are making their predictions, we are going to be getting introspectively shortly. And we are getting into game 1 here between Build Different plus Raj and Skeletal in this best of 5 series that I personally hope does not go on too late, as both teams have opposite started very late seemingly. But right now we kind of see Build Different kind of just maybe looking for a cheeky invade here through the top river brush. They do get spotted out, so they are aware it's happening.
They don't even get to kill the ward.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's really big as well, because if someone could get a early level 2, particularly the solar laners off that. For those of you who don't know, if you kill a ward, you only need 6 creeps to get level 2, not 7, as a solo laner. I don't know how it works for the duo lanes, but
Yeah.
so it can be big in like the Camille matchup. It's not going to mean a thing in the mid lane matchup.
Yeah.
Do you want to make sure we're synced?
You're at 112, 113, 114?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we're all good.
All good.
In regards to the teams, I actually am not a big fan of Build Different plus Raj's passivity. Ezreal Nautilus is a super safe lane. Speaking of which, Ted Bland's losing half his HP. Oh, the missed Q. That could have been a massive win if Cormaco hit that Q.
As Taki has pointed out in chat, Rel does not actually have her items, which is pretty rough, to say the least. Bit of an FF for bot lane, because you're not getting those stacks, and you don't have any stats to work with, or pots. So it's...
She gets the biscuits at the very least.
Yeah, it does have biscuits at least, it's tries to say them, but yeah, puts them so far behind.
Yeah, in a lane that's... Sorry, I just want to get back to the point. Top lane, Camille wins. Mid lane is very neutral. Lilia just wants to farm up as much as you can. She's one of the champions that's kind of abusing the XP from jungle camps at the moment, where you basically match a solar laner's XP. And then Ezreal Nautilus is such a safe lane, you're only going to catch out the Nautilus.
No.
Which means Udyr should, in theory, just get the first 2 Drakes for free. They should just belong to Skeletal.
Yeah.
Especially with Malzahar, other than his ore, there's not a lot he can contribute. Whereas, especially if Heimerdinger gets his turret set up or starts to get prio in the lane, which every Heimerdinger should, they should have a lot of control over the bot side of the river.
Yeah, just keep an eye on things. Things are going. Damscoop has managed to recall and get a support item and a red ward, and you know they haven't lost too much CS in the meantime, so they haven't necessarily been punished for it. Although he is a level down on the enemy bot lane. Otherwise, not too much happening. We have Clinto's grabbing himself to the top scuttle, and could possibly look for a gank top lane, but Camille is recalling, so won't be an angle there.
Got the 3rd wave pushed in, so she's back in to get second Doran's blade. I don't know is super necessary against the Ornn, but
yeah. So Clinto will see that
personal preference.
Crusty Pants' entire top side is down, so he will just opt to back off and go grab his own Croaker to start spawning now.
They will have vision of Krusty Pants now. They know where he is.
Yeah.
So and if he keeps farming, they should just be able to predict where he's going for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
But I mean, they'll know that Clinto was the one who used that vision as well, so they'll know that he was up there top side as well.
Yes. Yeah, they're just trading camps. They each took a single scuttle.
Yeah.
They're back to farming almost exact clear times. Yep. They both cleared their first camp of respawns. So it's a whole lot of kind of boring. I think the first action we'll see will probably be in the bot lane. I can see the Nautilus or the Rel trying to get something going.
Yeah, it's a bit harder for either bot lane to kill each other, to be honest, because you got the safety with the Ezreal dash, and then you have the heals from Senna. So,
speaking of Niall, I would like to see Krusty Pants go in and just harass him off, because the wave's in a really bad spot for Niall actually. So Krusty Pants can stick around, which is exactly what he's doing. because they could. His flash is gone.
Yeah.
He's dead actually. Don't burn flash. Yeah. The recall off SLB did it perfectly. He crashed the first 3 waves, got the bounce back on the waves, and Krusty Pants was just there in time because of his camps respawning.
Yep, and SLB also got himself the second Storm, so had a lot of sustain to be able to freeze the wave there, even instead of being harassed. So well played, well set up there. Nice punish early on. Does force out the TP early from Nile, so they will have that TP advantage from top lane if they want to look for a fight.
Oh, they spotted Clinto and he's very low. He did steal Krusty Pants' lower jungle. This should mean Drake, especially with Fluky backing as well, but I don't know if they have knowledge of that. Krusty is looking for Clinto, but he's just gonna push them off bot lane.
So
he should just take the Drake. That seems the obvious choice, especially when.
I mean, he has the TP advantage. He for sure should go for it, but he's opting instead to go somewhere back towards his top side. It seems like, because none of his bot side is actually able to take. So that's a big waste of
pressure and tempo.
Yeah, for sure. Like he's gonna get this top school, but ultimately, like it's just getting himself an individual lead over Bento more than anything else.
Yes.
Whereas he could have gotten that early Cloud Break, which would have really, Udyr actually just really loves right. Having that bit of extra move speed to kind of get around the map with.
Yeah, and the bot backed as well. The Senna and the Rel, which they definitely had info on.
Yeah.
So I guess he was just afraid, but it's Udyr and he was level 5.
Yeah.
Could have done it for free.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of, there is a CS discrepancy appearing in the ADCs. It's 10 CS towards Cormico.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising considering I just expected it. I suppose it's just last hitting.
I'd imagine it has to do with like Thamscape maybe being a level down, so there's a bit more pressure coming out from the 2v2 that way, in that sense.
Trading the top lane.
Bento use ulti, so we'll not have it for any team fight that breaks out in the next couple minutes.
Krusty's very happy with that. He just gets out Clinto's ult, which completely ruins any chance of Clinto getting a good gank off for the next couple of minutes. Again, he should be going to Drake. Instead, he's looking for something. Oh, Ted Blonde has to burn flash and heal to get out.
That's good. Should be able to walk away. Oh,
no, he doesn't. He gets the hook back up. Meanwhile, SOB gets solo killed in the top lane.
Okay.
Steel Cap's too OP.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly what you'd expect from the Camille or matchup, but well played from Niall to make that punish. Look, looks like he's gonna try get the wave shoved in top lane and then make it back himself. But yeah, bit messy back and forth. There is a small gold lead for Skeletal at the moment, mostly through bot lane. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that up. Gotta keep the pressure on the Senna and the Rel, try to keep them as relevant as possible. Clinto is looking bot lane here for a gank possibly though.
Yeah, he's going to be spotted out on the...
Yeah.
It's not a scuttle, I think it's actually just a mid-river ward. But it's really hard to gank. He still doesn't have his ults.
Krusty is here.
The Rel isn't even level 6. Yeah. It's just to make sure they can't free harass him. Oh, the flash from Rel, and they're just immediately turning on Clinto. And Clinto should be dead, but they're turning back on the Rel, who is in no man's land. Clinto goes back in. He's tunneling a bit hard on the Rel, but they pick up the 2 kills. They're very low, but Malzahar can't do anything.
Yeah, a lot of low help for Skeletal, but ultimately they do come out quite ahead in that trade, 2 for nothing. So we'll be quite happy with that. Only issue is the wave is in a bit of an awkward position for Cormico, so he's going to have to try to get the shoves.
Just needs to crash it and get it back.
Well, unfortunately, Ezreal's not the fastest shover in the world, so it does waste a little bit of tempo there for himself, trying to get it shoved in. But otherwise, yeah, good pick. Nearly 1.5k gold lead now for Skeletal. Take a quick look at the board. Yeah, so the majority of that is just on the Ezreal himself. Going forward to gold up. And he's going to be pretty happy with that because the way Ezreal builds at the moment means like the earlier you can get those 2 on spikes, the happier you are. Getting
Yes.
the Essence Reaver and the Duskblade.
So
Quite
he can tell something's going on here. He's backing off, but yeah. And he messed up the ult in Von. That's heartbreaking.
yeah.
He still got ordered by the second charge of the Call of the Forge God.
Yeah. Now, a bit unfortunate that Niall got that kill. You'd maybe like to have seen Clinto pick it up.
Yes.
Try to kind of get him snowballed a little bit more so he can be more of a powerhouse in these kind of objective skirmishes. But still fine. Good punishes on SLP to kind of try set him behind. Ted Blonde bring out position here.
Ted Blonde was going for a ward, maybe?
Yeah.
With the position the lane was in, he had no right going up there. They don't even need the ward because they can't, at that stage they can't contest the Drake anyway.
Yeah, and for sure now
Just
this dragon is going down, so...
Took only 11 minutes when we predicted the first one at 5. It's a bit slow.
Yeah, that's right, that's when the dragon first ones. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's obviously taken them quite a while to be able to take this first one.
And we'll see it now, but it's Ocean Drake is the next one, so you either get a fire or a Earth Soul. And meanwhile, the fight going on, and they're just no plates being here. Easy collapse from Raj's team because they're. Was it for blue buff?
I wasn't too sure what the skirmish about. It looks like they were invading for blue buff, or maybe they're trying to get cheeky onto Clinto. Yeah, they end up giving a massive amount of their leads over.
Yes.
Now, nearly 1k gold lead for Build Different plus Rush. So they're going to be happy with that. Also 2 kills onto Tevlon himself, who's going to be able to also farm himself up the plate. So yeah, he's going to be super happy with this. They should back now because the wave will just push into them. By the way, it's been set up here at the tower. Yeah.
Yeah, Skeletal just greeted after the Drake. They had gold. They had won the fight and they hadn't actually backed for a bit. So they did have a decent amount of gold on them. This is the period of time where Ornn just wins against Camille. She needs her finished item at the very least to be even able to contest this.
Yeah, she's been delayed quite a bit now with those two deaths, one solo to the Ornn, which you do not want to see. Has reset now. Will probably maybe look to TP back to top lane to catch Slave. It does indeed. So Niall does have TP advantage in the meantime. They could maybe look to use this somewhere. Looks like they are trying to set up a fight around the Herald here in top lane.
The Herald itself isn't valuable. It's the fight you want to take, which definitely goes in favor of Build Different plus Raj right now because of the Camille's just being useless, and yeah, they just catch out Krusty Pants because Rel was up there because Ted Blonde is safe as can be up in down in the bot lane by himself.
Yeah, now there is also available for and all this, so they could look to dive this, to be honest.
Yes, they should be. Yeah, that TP needed to come in a lot sooner from Niall, but he should still pick up the kill.
I mean, also I think Ted should have just backed off the tower a lot earlier, recognizing that he is on which side here. Like, you just have to kind of give it to CS at that point.
Meanwhile, another fight for the Heralds that is going in favor of Build Different plus Raj. Does he get the... No, he doesn't get the Clinto.
Now, Udyr is rushing over here, so Clinto being a bit low probably shouldn't try to stick around for this.
Oh, he catches out Cormaco. Does he die?
Yeah.
Wow. How is he there? Meanwhile...
So, they made the dive in bot lane, and Ornn had TP'd to bot. So it looks like he had gotten a kill on the Nautilus under tower, and then Kumiko was trying to escape into the jungle, but recalled maybe in a bit of an awkward spot.
In a weird spot, but yeah. He was chasing after the Nautilus, but Ezreal is behind him, so I don't know why he's not jumping over the wall. One thing I will say is there is a ward behind Cormaco and Manxius that's in the lane that is it's just past the Ted Blonde's turret, which is a TP ward. So the TP I think was called for, it just came in late.
Yeah.
One of the things that's bothering me is the mid lane usage of TPs. They keep using it to get back to lane. And
Yeah.
with the skirmishes happening right now, they could have made a lot happen in some of the lanes.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely, especially if you want to make use of that Malzahar ulti to kind of make a pick on a priority target. Would definitely help a lot, but right now they're kind of just ping-ponging ways back and forth. Slight lead for Fluky here, who is on the cover pick, it has to be said. His Malzahar has usually been banned like a fair amount against him this tournament. He's built himself up a 1k gold lead, so not doing too bad for himself.
Yeah, there's a hard goal lead in the top and a 1k in the mid, pretty much purely from Fluky just being around.
Yeah.
And Krusty Pants did actually pick up the Rift Heralds, which they get first turret blood, I think, now off of this. Yes, they do. It will kill. Oh, but they're fighting for this, which, again, Rel goes in very deep, which is on her own, but they somehow got the win because Nautilus takes a hook onto, I think it was Ted Blonde. And then the sleep comes out from Plinto, and Krusty Pants again overextending.
Yeah.
They just keep walking into them, which is exactly what Built Different plus Raj wants. They
yeah,
just...
I mean, once you've lost the Nautilus, you should just walk away from that. Definitely kind of overforced it. Gives more gold into Clinton's pockets, which he'll be very happy with. And yeah, for sure. Like, I was kind of questioning that dive from Tom Squibb, but when you realise that the Rel is just so tanky when it goes into the armor form, then you also have like the big ulti coming from Ted Blonde to kind of give him extra shielding.
Cormico? How? I don't know how he got behind it, Ted Blonde.
Oh! Even lived though. Oh!
Oh no!
Outplayed,
The
unfortunately.
skill shots. Oh. Doppler? Okay, yeah. Max just comes up and gets the hook and just ends that where it is. They should be looking for the Drake now, but there's no TPs on anyone but Boppler, who's already down there.
Yep.
But so they're just looking for Clinto and Nile to show themselves, I think.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fluky does get himself the mid lane turret, so it does give Built Different a bit more leeway for opening up some vision around these kind of mid jungle areas. Getting themselves a bit of inside track towards this dragon. And yeah, they should look trying to prioritize this now. They have the gold lead. They need to kind of start using this to kind of get themselves these dragons. Especially having, Ocean's always nice to have. Obviously, you want to deny Blue Side trying to get towards their own like kind of dragon win condition.
Correct. Oh, looks like we are expecting something. Nile does have TP, so his TP just came off. Yeah, there's looking to be a skirmish for this. The Rel takes the plant over and... Oh, Clinto. Oh, SLB gets immediately a Malzahar ulti. He's out of place right now, but just everything is going out. There's a lot of buffers. And Cormico took... Oh, is he dead? He's dead to the burn from the Malzahar E.
Yeah.
And yeah, Fluky did a lot of work. He just killed Boppler and Cormico on the back line.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can see the wallets coming in handy now for Built Different plus Raj. Even though the fight was super messy, they were kind of able to fight like super fractured, and it just didn't matter. Like Nile is just styling on people with Ornn at the moment. Just
that was a beautiful E. That was pitch perfect E to hit the wall.
Yeah.
It's about as max distance as you could get. Yeah.
So,
yeah. This super disjointed calls about like who they're focusing from Skeletal.
Yeah.
Whereas like Boppler and Cormico were stuck in the back line, but SLB had like got immediately chunked out by the Malzahar, and then Manchus and Krusty Pants were just in getting ticked away by Clinto and Ted Blonde.
Yeah, for sure. So they're in a bit of a rough spot at the moment. Nearly 7k gold down. Do have no, sorry, that's not the Herald, that's the Baron spawning, so no second Herald for either team. Right now, Hermiko just trying to get the wave shoved into mid lane, but can't walk too much further or he's going to get picked off.
And
And
Builder from Plus Raj is definitely the easier, I think, of the comps to play, because they can just walk in as 5, and if they all press or, they should just win.
yeah, like you kind of got a pseudo split push comp here from
Skeletal. Yep.
And it did definitely, you need to be kind of a bit more ahead at this point to kind of start making that work for you, because Camille is not as strong as she needs to be. Like we've already seen now kind of what we won her plenty of times.
Full item down, 3k gold.
So there's not really much kill threat for her.
Oh, the Nautilus Lord comes down and they just pop Ted Blonde, because he may not be able to kill Niall, but the Camille can definitely do work against the Senna. You know, Clinto flats out. Krusty Pants again goes very deep for Clinto. Yeah. And Niall just shows up, and despite them all being carries, I don't think they can do anything here. Oh. Yeah. Oh my god.
Very nicely done. Poplar may go down here as well. It's gonna, just flashes the flap.
Yeah, Niall just doesn't care.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, big skirmish win there for Builder from Plus Raj. They're not gonna get too much of it, just like the mid third here perhaps. So a bit more gold into their pockets, but no major objective up and available for them to kind of rush. As I said earlier, the Baron might have been an issue if they were further behind, but because Malzahar and Lily are both like fairly strong at this point, and they have out of Leandries, they're going to shred it very, very quickly. So it doesn't necessarily matter they don't have a traditional ADC in a sense.
Crystal Pants is going on Niall, but that was just Sunfire damage. He autoed him once. Oh, meanwhile Ted Blonde's catching out Cormaco, and he just straight up kills him. And another fight in the top lane. Again, they went so deep for Niall, and they just got caught out of position.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ted Blonde does get himself picked off once again. Has been in a few weird positions this game, throwing away his leads. So if you're a Builder Plus Raj, you definitely want to see him kind of tidy that up for the next games. But still, they're in a position now to definitely just start shredding away in this Baron with no real contest.
You know he's in that position where he's an ADC and he's just useless because the tank is killing everyone by just standing there. Yeah. So he just feels like he has to do something. Yeah. It's where this is where the ADC is trash line comes in. Yeah. Because you look at your 7-2 and 10, your 505, your 8-1 and 5, all with 700 or 400 gold shutdowns.
He did respawn in time though to get that Baron buff as it was just taken, so that's going to be pretty nice to have that on all 5 members.
They're 10k gold behind now.
10k gold behind, and you've got Ornn items coming in.
The Ornn items will come in the first 2, yes.
Which is super, super good. Clinto and Fluky are both really strong. They're Dawson are just going to absolutely shred through the side of Skeletal, and they can just keep on grouping like this for all these objectives. You have Dragon now in 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Niall can go to top lane. He's got under any threat from Camille, realistically. Fluky can kind of start getting prio here in mid lane. And yeah, I think they're just kind of chilling at the moment.
Yeah, Niall finished the Randuins, so he's quadra armor items.
Yeah.
And his MR is comprised of solely a null magic mantle. Yep. Because Boppler is just not a threat to him.
Nope, absolutely not. Clinto shredding through this dragon. Does barely secure with the
that was close actually.
Didn't have. Looks like he didn't have the smite available. So maybe a bit of a coin flip, I guess. Plus
they're going on Niall, but I actually think he might win. Does he win this?
Nah, unless he lands everything.
No, yep, he does, because he just kills SLB.
Yeah, I mean, he did land everything in the end, so.
Ted Blonde with the port of ults from downtown. And Clinto might pick up Krusty Pants as well on his way back. Oh, does he? No, he just survives. Oh, a bit deep from Clinto, but he has the Zanyas. Oh, and the Aurum powered stun grenade from Boppler, but he dies for it fluky.
Yep, so they will lose
Yeah.
their mid inhibitor at the very least here. Could lose more. There are long dead
This-
timers on Krusty and Boppler. They may end up just opting to go towards the top instead, and then maybe looking for a reset, trying to close the game soon.
Or I would like them to kill both together and try and get both waves crashing together.
Yeah.
It could have possibly ended then, because whether he's on half health or full health, Nile is as unkillable.
But yeah, so they will get this. They'll Niall recall in the middle of the wave like Chad. Fair play to him. The rest of the team will look to reset in a bit of a safer spot. SLB looking for potentially trying to stop recall, but ultimately does not opt to do that.
They
So
still have a minute left on the Baron though, so they can just group and run it down top lane. They're honestly just so far ahead that they can just group as 5 and run it down mid,
Yep.
and I don't think Skeletal can stop them.
Yeah, I mean
Because
they can,
Krusty Pants is just
like they can barrel it down mid lane at the moment, and now can push down bot lane. Because right now SLB stuck clearing waves in top lane, does have TP available. Rel, yeah, Danskip is kind of hovering towards bot side, maybe trying to get some vision, but you'd probably prefer to see him with the rest of the core in the mid lane.
they're just getting the mid lane shoved and rotating down, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
Boppler.
Boppler, this is long engage with it. Yeah, it works. I think they can get Boppler.
Oh, slightly missed on the scroll speed, but it doesn't matter because they can get the gauge off the Rel W. So yeah, nice pick.
What do the casters say? They're just smacking them with their wallets.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Just
Yeah, basically.
nothing they can do. Oh, and Ted and Cormaco getting caught out as well. And I think he's definitely dead to
He's
the
gonna
bleed. I
melt,
think.
like, but doesn't matter. Now once been an absolute alpha Chad flashed in to get that kill on Cormaco, and
Did they
the
just
classic
FF?
yeah, it's a classic spectator bug. The Nexus probably went down, but sometimes it just freezes like this. So yeah, nice strong start here for built different plus Raj. Definitely comp kind of came online for them early with the kind of leads they were able to get off. So the plays Skeletal definitely kind of had some good early plays, but ultimately made a series of errors that kind of threw away their lead, and kind of. And off of that, you can't really make that with this kind of composition that they've got.
Yes.
So yeah, solid first game. We'll see if the stats decide to work or not. Oh, they are indeed nice. And look at the damage coming out from Nile on Ornn. Absolutely disgusting. Just clapping lads all over the place like.
The 5100 from Coast Defense is very disappointing. He can get a lot. He should have been able to get a lot more done.
Yeah, I think so.
As we said, the first 2 Drakes should have been his. They could have taken that one at like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they're threatening soul point at 15 minutes, which at that point they were still in the game, but very much so, I think.
For sure, definitely need to be a bit more decisive about the objective taking when they kind of get that opportunity, but we'll see now if they can turn that around in game 2. So who would you give your player of the game to for game 1?
Definitely Niall. He was just unkillable, and then he was hitting. It wasn't just that SLB was making mistakes, but he was hitting such like beautiful ease, where it was as narrow as it could be to hit the wall. And then he knew how strong he was, where he just started running into the enemy team. He has 12 kills on Ornn.
Yeah.
On Ornn.
Yeah, that's absolutely nutty. But guys, we shall go to a quick break while we're waiting for game 2 to be set up. We'll be back shortly. And we are back, guys, for game 2 between Build Different Plus Raj and Skeletal in this best of 5 losers bracket final. After a pretty strong game 1 from Build Different Plus Raj. Kind of curious to see now if Skeletal can turn this around, maybe change things up in the draft, maybe make kind of their setup maybe a bit easier for themselves.
Yeah, and we seem to be getting the exact same 6 bands, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why Skeletal think they don't. Maybe they're fine with the bands and they just want to change up their picks, which I'd like to see. They're taking away the Senna straight away.
Yep, and they've opted to stay on the blue side too. Because I do believe they get selection after losing
a loss.
After loss, so have opted to stay blue side. Have opted to first pick the Senna this time around now. Denied that from Ted Blonde, which I don't think he made like the biggest impact on the pick. If you're looking at like how that game went, so maybe start just trying to get Cormico on something maybe a bit more comfortable, perhaps.
Yes.
Have given the Udyr over to Clinto though, so a bit of denial coming out here against Krusty Pants, which I'm curious to see how this goes, because I think Clinto has looked pretty good on like kind of carry champions, damage oriented ones, like the Hecarim, like the Lilia. We'll see if he can kind of pull off some magic with the Udyr. They have picked themselves up Tristana as well, which could technically be a bit of flex, but is most likely going towards Teblon, which is his old signature Tristana that he will famously W in on to his demise.
Can't help it. It does damage, right?
I mean,
that's how that works.
I mean, yeah.
Gotta maximize your DPS.
So, see Skeletal to answer with another Nautilus for Manizu. And
what I'm really hoping to see the changes are in the mid lane. I think bot lane was, the impact of bot lane was, it was actually pretty big because of the skirmishes. The Rel had a good bit of impact because she was getting her stuns off. The Echo pick, so I imagine they're gonna counter pick with the Malzahar and just be fine picking those into each other. The Malzahar deals pretty fine with a lot of mages, or people who can't like super easily pop his spell shields. Echo, even with his Q, has a lot of trouble, so you're required to E in and then try and get your 3 procs another way, but that typically loses the trades. So yeah, we see the Malzahar.
Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'll do predictions after the draft's finished, Taki.
So, but I am happier to see the Echo rather than the Heimerdinger. I don't know if they were expecting the Malzahar, but the Malzahar denies everything Heimerdinger wants to do. I don't know if Boppler plays them, but more of the AD oriented champions. Yone and Aurelia and even Zed to a degree would have been really scary into the Malzahar. He has a lot of trouble dealing with them. So right now it's getting a lot of top lane bans coming on the side of Built Different with Nar and Kale. They probably want SLB to go back onto the Camille, and they're fine taking the Ornn again.
Yeah.
But they banned and then Skeletal banned the Braum. And if they at all want to pick the Camille, they need to get rid of Ornn because SLB just maybe yes, and there's the Ornn ban. So we can predict the Camille pick for SLB, and then maybe Niall takes it away from him and denies it.
Yeah, good.
But no, they go for the comfort Rel onto Damsquib, which is again really good. They're other than the Lilia. It's pretty much the exact same comp, and pretty sure that's not the Draven's not coming in, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Most likely get themselves the jungle, which is indeed the Sejuani, but looks fit. So looking for more straightforward utility, kind of front back team fighting pick potential, which is fine. I think they've kind of got themselves a bit of a dive comp. Sort of, with the Echo and the Sejuani, right?
Yes. They can front to back team fight very well as well, with Echo looking for flanks onto the
The only thing is, does the Senna kind of match that? Is what I'm wondering, because she can kind of shred, but not to the same extent as other ADCs. Now, obviously, she also gives like healing to her backline or frontline divers, so not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I think they
Um,
want to play it slow with Sejuani, Cho'Gath, and Nautilus as a front line, and then
yeah,
Senna slowly taking them away. And
yeah,
then Malzahar doesn't really have an ult target unless Echo comes in at a bad spot, and then the Mordekaiser comes in to match the Cho'Gath. Just not a matchup I'm familiar with, mainly because who plays Cho'Gath anymore? But I know Mordekaiser does come in as counter picks to certain melee champs, so I'll see how Nile or SLB plays it. And then the problem with the jungle matchup here in particular is why jungle tank champions aren't getting picked right now until they might get picked more after the nerfs, which I don't think have come in yet. If
yeah,
I'm no, is because champions like Udyr and Nidalee and Lilia, they just farm so much faster,
yeah,
so they get so much more tempo on the map, and then it lets Udyr just kind of control the whole game. Because by the time Sojourner has done 4 camps, Udyr has almost done his first full clear, even at the early levels. The disparity just grows and grows. So Udyr can keep up with the Mordekaiser and the solo laners in particular in terms of levels,
mm-hmm.
whereas Sejuani is just gonna be an ore bot and like a CC bot, similar to what Malzahar essentially is
Yeah.
for the early couple of levels. So I'm just worried that Skeletal's team comp might get run over a bit early. Um,
Yeah, for sure. So we're kind of seeing a flip reverse of the previous game, where the onus now is on built different from the strategy to make kind of the early plays and make sure things don't get too out. Uh, Basically, make sure that blue side comp doesn't scale out of control.
yes.
Um, so we'll see if they can make that work, as we're seeing predictions kind of flood in. A lot of people seem to be or more people seem to be leaning towards built different plus Raj with the composition set up. So bit more fate perhaps for them to be able to execute on this kind of more early game style composition.
I
Um,
did get my first prediction wrong. I did. I didn't say it, but I predicted Skeletal. But
yeah,
that's not knowing the players. It was purely based on comp.
yeah,
I expected, particularly the Udyr. The Udyr influences a lot of comps at the moment. Jungle is just so strong
yep,
at the moment,
for
so
sure.
you can. Um, and I think Tristana Rel, based on particularly the smart support, since it's the same support matchup from last game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting the same with Damp Squids and Ted Blonde kind of still win. And then if Clinto is there, if Clinto and Krusty Pants are there the same as the previous fights,
Yeah,
again Clinto and the Udyr will
yeah.
just do a lot more than the Sejuani.
What I will say is that the Tristana Rel definitely has more kill pressure onto the center Nolus than in the previous game where it was kind of like the center versus Ezreal, right? Like there's not as much
Yes.
2v2 kill pressure from either side. So it's definitely a bit more volatile this time around. So we'll see if they end up capitalizing off that. Try to get some early leads in the bot lane, get some early Dragon Prio, which is Udyr is obviously wanting to gear towards. But yeah,
Even then, the problem with Skeletal in the first game was Manxious and Krusty Pants just going too deep
oh,
on a lot of the fights, and Built Different Plus Raj didn't even need to like get flanks off on the carries, or they didn't even need to worry about Ezreal or the Heimerdinger. The Heimerdinger wants the enemy team to come into his turrets, and like he plays the control. So that's why I expected a lot of objective control, where the Udyr comes down, he clears faster, so he's there first, and then Heimerdinger can get priority mid and rotate down,
yeah,
and then set up the turrets. But that just didn't happen.
uh, it did not. So we should be into game shortly. We'll see how these teams kind of play out this early game in game 2. Let's switch it over here. Just checking that you're on the same time at 16, 17, 18.
18. Yep.
Perfect.
All good.
Grand. So we are into game 2 here between Builder plus Raj and Skeletal in this best of 5. Same sides as the first game. Both sides just kind of going for the 5-man spreads, not looking for anything too crazy here.
Skeletal did see Clinton come into here, but they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, moving now.
Oh, yes, he is.
Does just get the walk
Crusty
away.
Pants didn't even press the W. Oh, he's taking his E first. I don't know what you level first anymore in Sejuani.
No, it's for sure the W. No,
Yeah.
actually, no, sorry, it is E because you want to utilize the
percentage max health.
Yeah, you want to basically get user passive stack as quickly as possible, and so you can burst down the camps. But even W is still fine for the first camp. So maybe could have taken that and possibly looking for a cheeky level 1 play, maybe force out the flash from Udyr. Doesn't do that much in your game regardless. I don't think they would have had any kill pressure there.
That word is interesting for Manchus. I feel like it's very early because it's going to die and he's not going to have a word for Udyr's timing, because they already know Clinto started topside because of Tyblon and Damsquib are showing in lane so early. So unless Clinto is doing a leashless run, they know he started the topside. So that and I think Senna worded the bush just inside of Drake Pit, so they're not going to have any words for the very important 3-minute gank or 3:30-minute gank by Udyr.
Yeah.
So if their lane's in a bad spot, come the time, meanwhile just trades going on in the bot lane.
Yeah.
SP got hit by the pull. Somehow Damsquib is under turret, and despite them hitting level 2 way earlier than Cormac or Manchus, they go about even since Damsquib just took so much damage from the turret. And Boppler, you can't miss those.
Yeah, Boppler is on a bit more of a comfort pick here, and with on his Echo, but have to see if he can make that work versus the Malzahar, which can be quite annoying to deal with for a melee champion. I would assume in mid lane. So see how that goes. Ted trying to get the shove in here. But the wave is just going to freeze for Cormico, so they're going to have something over here.
Yeah, they're thankfully safe from the ganks for now. They did actually get Manchus's Ignite, which is a very preemptive Ignite. I think he might have tried to get Damsquib more locked down under the turret.
Yeah. Hard enough to do when you're level 1.
And Krusty Pants is actually keeping up with Clinto in terms of clear. He is actually he's one full camp behind. Yeah. So Clinto comes in to check, and he should get pressure off on Boppler. Yeah, this is a flash at the very least. Yeah. And he's dead. Why didn't he? I don't know why he didn't run to his turret. I think he lives there. If he does.
I think he didn't. His dash cooldown must have been not available. So he got stunned as he flashed over the wall. So ultimately didn't have anywhere to go after that.
And so Cormaco, they're slow pushing out. They could have actually waited, but they get Cormaco's flash at the very least.
Oh, they're going to kill.
Dude, he doesn't die to that. He does die to the Tristana explosive charge. That's the last tick, I think, almost.
Of the ignite from Damsquib, yeah. Yeah, this Hail Blade Tristana E can definitely do a lot of damage early on in the game. You have to be very careful with those all-ins. So yeah, well played to get a kill there on Cormico, who used both his thumbs as well to try to get out of that play.
This is exactly what I was talking about. They didn't have the wards up, and the wave pushed back against them for the 4-minute gank. It was a minute later than I predicted, but they just had no vision for it. And even though they were under their turret, I would like to see Cormico preemptive flash. As soon as he sees the Udyr and the Rel coming in, he just needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
Niall doing the trades that feel great until 40 seconds later, Cho'Gath kills the wave and heals up half his HP again.
Yep.
His passive
is still trying to bully SLB though as much as possible. maybe forces that to TP here, so will have TP advantage for himself. He's going to be pretty happy again. So 2 games in a row now. Now having pretty decent performance here in the 1v1s versus SLB.
The one good... Oh, and meanwhile bot lane trying to get on, and Cormaco just hugging the wall for really no reason. And
Yeah.
then gets caught out.
Like, you have to be so careful of, like, because Rel and Tristana are basically just die buddies, right?
Yes.
Rel goes in, Tristana can go in. If they position correctly, they can get extra stuns off the Link E. So it can be really, really potent, and your position has to be so careful, especially when you don't have flash available.
The flash.
Yep. So
yeah, they're punishing the Ezreal switch to Senna here. And
yep, for sure.
Cormaco just needs to really respect it, because they still have both their flashes, they still have the heal up. Cormaco just needs to take the loss, and what we expected from Skeletal last game is what I'm hoping is happening here, which is the early Drake.
Yep.
From Clinto. They went to pressure mid a bit, and yeah, he's going on to the Drake.
So
yeah,
he can
they
just
just
solo
have
this
the pressure.
with no issue whatsoever. Telbon keeping the pressure down here in bot lane, and no danger of contest as the Sejuani is top lane at the moment trying to farm her own jungle. Not made any impact so far. Is about 700 gold down on Clinto. So definitely needs to start making some ganks soon, perhaps, to try to stabilize the map a little bit.
Yeah, so Clinto doing the right thing, which is he has so much pressure in the mid and the bot lane. Meanwhile, on top lane, the ore coming out, he's in the death round. But SLB, he just has to flash away, and Nile will take that very happily for his ore.
No summons available for the Cho'Gath. Could be a potential gank angle for Clinto.
He had used his feast on the wave to get the first stack. It had just come back off.
Yep.
Just as he flashed away, I think. Oh, and yeah, Boppler, you don't want to take that E.
Yeah. Very wailed on here in the mid lane, actually. Is 20 CS down in the matchup. Not having a great time at all. So just, leads across the board here for Built Different plus Raj. With a composition that's designed to do it, obviously. They've definitely picked themselves some winning matchups and trying to abuse them as best they can. Got themselves just over a 2.3k gold lead. Seblon looks for another reset here. So should have a decent spike, has 1300 gold to spend, so will probably get himself the Noon Quiver, I would assume.
Yes.
Just so he can stack up the Gale Blades even faster in those islands. And yeah, they have to be pretty happy with how the game's gone so far.
Yeah, so we're starting to see that CS discrepancy in the jungle, even though I don't think I've seen Krusty Pants leave the jungle. He showed up top to give moral support for SLB crashing the wave, but other than that, and Clinto's got the 2 assists. He got the gank off on Boppler and the gank off on the bot lane as well, with Cormaco being out of position and blowing his flash. And he's still 20 CS up, so this is where we're seeing where the power farming is just like, he just clears faster. There's nothing they can do about it, and Clinto just walks through mid lane and they can't do anything about it, even though they know where he is.
Yeah, for sure.
I would really like to see Built Different swap they already have Rel roaming, but they can even take they could even put the Malzahar in the bot lane and have their bot lane rotate mid for the Herald to give them a lot more pressure. That's what I'd really like to see here. But I think Clinto and Rel are and Damscrib are just running into the enemy jungle.
Yeah. I mean, there's enough 2v2 kill pressure just from Rel and Tristana alone that maybe they're happy enough to stay here in the bot lane. Try to continue to build the lead, maybe look for more punish kills. Clinto is hovering down here, but it's just going to use the platform as a pit, get himself back into his own jungle.
Krusty Pants trying to look for something top mid lane, but I don't even know if he walked over ward. I think they just kind of knew he was there. So Fluky was just, as soon as Boppler walks up Fluky just runs back to his team towards Clinto on the bot side.
To be honest, if I were Krusty here, I would really go top lane, right?
Oh, the flash hook miss from Manchester, but it doesn't matter because beautiful CC chain. They still, even with the missed hook, they still managed to keep him going. Oh, Manchester takes the hook in again. Same thing was happening last game where it was actually the second hook almost every time, where he doesn't want to take it in. Meanwhile, a fight did happen in mid lane, but Fluky didn't even use Ignite, and Boppler didn't even use his ult, so there was a lot of safety there. And SOB is starting to finally win these trades. His E, I think, is really where it hits home.
Yeah, for sure. And that could have been a gank angle for Sejuani as well. Like, ultimately he opted into bot lane there. But like, you know, with the Cho'Gath, you can cycle the Sejuani passive very quickly, and you do definitely have kill pressure here on the Mordekaiser, right?
Yes.
Obviously, he does have the Death Realm, but because they're both tanky, I don't think he can kill them quick enough in the Death Realm for that to be necessarily, you know, too much of a concern.
And Krusty Pants is even opting into the MR, has the Merc Trade's first item.
Yeah, so
and Niall with only the blasting one, he doesn't have the huge amount of kill pressure.
Yeah, and if you can kind of get this Cho'Gath ahead of the Mordekaiser, make him basically unkillable on the sideline, I think that helps with your composition quite a bit.
Yeah, I think Cho'Gath does win this, just judging by how the lane goes. Especially with the way Niall's building more into AP rather than tanky or bruiser.
Yeah.
Although I don't know the Mordekaiser build if you can still get away with the Nashers. But we are seeing the first mythics come out, the Turbo Chem Tank on Udyr and the Liandry's on the Malzahar, just as the second Drake spawns.
So for the side Skeletal, so definitely behind the mark here.
They do catch Damn Skrill out though, caught in no man's land, and somehow Skeletal got a lot of more vision down on the river despite the pressure Clinto had, but he is there trading it for Heralds, which I think they can take depending on how they use the Heralds. Probably trying to get Ted Blonde and Damscript further ahead than they already are.
Yeah, sure. That looks like they are actually... No, sorry, Clinto is actually just clearing out the topside jungle here, trying to make a punish on Krusty Pants. They're possibly going to make a pick here on Manitou. He is very able.
And he's just dead.
Yeah, bit of a premature ulti from Fluky perhaps. Probably could have done the kill without that, but ends up opting into it. Get the kill. Clinto going very aggressive here.
Yeah, Boppler has to ult, but he's right back into the Malzahar, and even Niall roamed down. I would have liked to see SLB move down for that. I think he stayed for a couple CS. So despite him being almost stronger in the lane, they're popping the Herald straight mid just to get Fluky more prio.
Yep.
And Krusty Pants can't do anything about it. He just has to take his Raptors. Because if he doesn't take them now, Clinto is just going to take them right after. But Manchus and Cormaco going bot lane, and Clinto and Fluky are just staying mid, and so they get the mid inner for free because they get the second charge off of the Herald.
Yeah, for sure. Your bot outer is not worth the same as your mid inner.
And your entire bot side jungle because Fluky does not have his ults, so Skeletal can take this fight. Krusty Pants has to be careful about being one shot, and Cormaco is not up there to follow up. He should be, but SLB is down here. He did roam down in time, which is really nice. Damscript has no flash to get out. Oh, but Niall is TPing in, so they should be able to just walk it out.
Yeah, more picks.
They get away with that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Teflon wasn't too far away. Like you saw, he doubled in into the fight to clean up some of those kills. Kento going very low here to minions, just barely get away with his life. Yeah, also recalling a bit of a cheeky spot too. Doesn't not getting punished, but ultimately, meanwhile, Teflon trying to get the shove here in bot lane, so they will ultimately get that turret too off of this push, and yeah, they make massive gains there actually. So like 6.3k gold ahead now, probably the full 7, and once this turret goes down, and yeah, they're gonna be like really happy with that play.
So yeah, Malzahar did have his ult down, but so did Krusty Pants and Boppler. Now that I think about it, they had burned their ults in
Yeah.
that weird 2v2, 2v3 fight in the topside jungle.
And he kind of saw Damscould make good use of his own ulti in the chokehold. Like he kind of made a lot of disruption with that big kind of gravity field that he has around him. Now,
Also B, I honestly think he's happy when he gets eaten. I think if he goes on Nile there, he wins the trade, but it's hard to tell. He did go over the Iceborne first, which is the armor MR mix, and
yeah.
he doesn't even. I'd like to see the Merc trades. The Bear stands from Udyr and the AP threat of the Mordekaiser and Malzahar. Just he goes them Negatron Cloak, which I really just want him to finish his boots. I think it'll help a lot against the 1v1 in the top lane, and he's like trying to freeze. Oh, missed the Q.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for a pick on the here now. Manizu is here. He could just get Mordekaiser ulti out.
No, Mank just needs to just leave, yep. And yeah, he'll trade 1 for 1.
Oh.
Okay. Ult was unnecessary. Sure. He's just buying time. His bot side are just gonna get pressure. He's gonna... Oh, there's no plant. So yeah, he dies for this. Unfortunate. Yeah, this is really bad for Skeletal because it goes over to Krusty Pants as well. You almost want the fee stack, or at the very least Cormaco to get it.
No, Cormaco got the kill.
Oh, did he? He did. Sorry, he got the auto at the very end.
Cormaco got the kill, so that's fine. It's big. It's a shutdown for Senna, so that's definitely not bad. You're starting to wonder if it's maybe too little, too late though, because the gold lead is severely still in the favor of Build Different Plus Raj. You got a lot of time to clear out this bot jungle, get a lot of priority towards maybe looking for this bot inhibitors, whereas SLB maybe gets the top for all his troubles.
Yeah, they just have complete control over the top lane, and Cormaco is being dove, and I don't know. Oh, they were on the very edge, and they're just killing them.
Yep. I mean, to make the dive happen, they got to pick on Manisu. They're going to get this bot first, and they will have cryo here on the dragon as well. So
might just kind of dying for Cormaco's mistake there.
Yeah, and the top lane turret didn't even go down, so they actually lost nothing off that except for that earlier kill onto Nile. So yeah, Build Different Plus Raj, get away with it again.
They're coming up to contest this Drake, but they really can't. There's a 2-level difference in mid, 2-level difference in jungle, levels in the ADCs, and yeah, Krusty Pants. I was gonna say the Earth Soul would be, oh, he was massive. He was silenced, but he had to ore back anyway. The Earth Soul would have been massive for Skeletal, if they managed somehow to get it. Every Earth Drake is so big on Cho'Gath's, Sejuani, and the Nautilus, but there's too much of a level difference that they're starting to get almost 2k gold leads in each of their lanes. Udyr has his second item.
They're just shy of 10k gold overall. So yeah, there's a big difference in the wallets once again here in game 2. Now they are against a competition that definitely scales better in a sense. So Skeletal still definitely have that going for them if they can try to stall out the game, but it's looking a little more difficult to make that happen right now. Built from Plus Raj trying to get some deep vision here into the topside jungle, trying to get some priority on the farm pick, maybe force Skeletal to fight into them while they still have this massive lead in their favor.
Yeah, it happened the last game as well, but when they got ahead, Clinto and Damn Squid are just playing as if they're duo jungling. They just go everywhere together to get control of each point of the jungle.
Yep.
And Skeletal they don't have a way to answer it themselves. Like Damn Squib can just do this. He's just gone in and cleared almost every control word that they've placed. And yeah, so it's like Skeletal, and they're gonna catch up Buffer and Manxious in the mid lane. And yeah, they again just have no business being up there past their dead turret, and Manxious misses the hook and gets caught anyway.
Yep, and there's a Herald. Is that Herald? Yeah. So
yes, the Herald's coming down.
They're gonna get a massive push here. Even before the Baron itself has spawned. So
they Oh, will they catch Custody Pants? No. And SLP. Oh, SLP got minion blocked by Rift Herald. I don't know if it makes a difference, but that is unfortunate because he wasn't able to get his auto attacks off.
They're trying to get the one more charge here to possibly even look maybe
They can possibly end, yeah. Yeah, only 4 are alive, but I really don't think they can contest this.
Holy moly.
I think they can win the fight. They're just so much stronger, and Ted Blonde's just hitting Krusty Pants for free. Oh, they finally get Clinto. That's his first death of the game. But Nile is in the back line. He was in the death realm, and they just left him be. And that'll be game.
Unfortunately, does leave us to believe that Build Different Strategy have ended the nexus of Skeletal in this game too. More than likely. But yeah, well played once again by Build Different Strategy. They definitely executed on this kind of more kind of early to mid game spike in composition. Definitely used the leads that you'd like to see. Now we've kind of seen two halves from both teams. So I'm curious now how this kind of changes things up going into game 3. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we are not getting stats on this one, which is a bit unfortunate. But just based on what you can see from that game, to like, who would you give your player of the game to?
That one was not so much Nile. There was a lot less. So I think I'll actually give it to Damn Squib. I think he got good engages off.
Yeah.
And he enabled. While Clinto was really good, he enabled Clinto a lot. He was able to go around with him and like back him up in a lot of the invades, and any small lead Clinto got, Damn Squib just made sure it stayed that way.
Yeah,
and he was able to just follow him around the whole time.
And he had a lot of good 2v2 engages to get CC down, force Kirby back, and they definitely built off a big lead off the back of the sort of the constant priority they had in bot lane. So yeah, I'd agree. Extremely good game there from Damn Squib. And we shall go to another quick break, guys, while we're setting up for game 3. We'll be back to see you guys shortly.
See you in a bit.
Star has no roots to hold it, no living, lonely entity to lose. To and fro it floats in the light of the sky like a water lily, and fades on the blue flood of day. Is adrift and free.
And we are back, guys, with game 3 of Built Different plus Raj versus Skeletal in this best of 5. Currently 2-0 to Built Different plus Raj. So Skeletal have to try make the reverse sweep work for them. Have opted to go to blue side once again. Do see a bit of a change here in pick and bans as the Balzahar is taken away from Fluky. They're trying to get that comfort off of him. See, and they grab once they go back to grabbing the Udyr for themselves for Crispens.
Yeah, so the Malzahar has been in comfort for him, but the real problem has been through the jungle.
Yeah.
Niall took over the first game a lot, but Clinto still had a big impact. It was, if it wasn't Niall as MVP, it was Clinto definitely as a second.
No.
And again, if it wasn't Damp Squib who'd be my MVP for the second, it was Clinto. They enable him a lot, but I don't think Malzahar was the problem. But if they are looking to play through Boppler and somehow get Boppler ahead of Fluky, then I can see that happening. And the Shen and the Senna coming out. So again, Ted Blonde wasn't the most outstandish on it, but it hasn't been a story of the ADCs or the bot lane. Well, no, it hasn't been a story of the ADCs. Bot lane has actually had a big impact.
Yep.
For better or for worse.
Yep.
I really wish they wouldn't put Manxius back on Nautilus. Maybe it's his comfort, but a little something less inty if he dies.
Yeah.
If he gets the wrong hook.
The Swain ban has definitely been targeted against him because he was playing a lot of support Swain. So he showed a lot of comfort on that. The Nautilus, I agree, he hasn't looked fantastic on this series. But in theory, like, it shouldn't be too bad, right? Like, you're just looking to press aura on a target. They have locked in the Yasuo. This could be a flex for Cormico, perhaps. They could be looking for a kind of cheesy bot lane here.
I would like to see the Karma or the Lulu is like really good. If he likes to play the kind of neutralizing lanes like Malzahar, something that like the Yasuo doesn't, Lulu in particular, Yasuo does not enjoy. They just get the comfort for Clinto, which is also fine.
Yep.
And that does, although it doesn't super synergize with the Senna, they can pick the support mid and just go full in on protecting Ted Blonde with the sleep from Clinto, what I'm assuming to be a Nile Shen and not a Damp Squib Shen. I don't see why, with Rel not being banned away, that they just...
No, it's for sure a pick for Niall. He's played a lot of Shen and it gets banned up against him quite frequently. So
it also helps with the skirmish. A lot of the skirmishes, it gets Niall into into all the skirmishes that have been playing bot, which he's generally not been a part of. I mean, he wasn't even there. It was just him winning his lane in the first game, but here he actually gets to get involved because the skirmishes in bot lane have actually been winning or have been what get Built Different really far ahead.
Yeah, like apart from a couple of ganks that Crucifix has managed to make in the bot lane, we haven't really seen any kind of 2v2 kill pressure come from Cormico and Manizu so far on their own terms. So we'll see if they kind of try to shift that up. They are banning a lot of beefy boys away from Damp Squib. No Brom and no Rail this time. They are hovering their next in here. I suspect that's not going to be locked in though. Unless they are going to flex the Shen. I haven't seen Damp Squib play that yet. Could always be a possibility. But yeah, they're just going to blind pick the mid lane for Fluky, get himself a safe control mage, relatively speaking. I think it works absolutely fine for what they've got so far. Plus that means they're going to give counterpick top lane to Niall, who has been more or less a fairly consistent performer for them this series against SLB, so not too surprising to see that.
And they take the Silas in the mid lane, which means Yasuo should be going bot.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
The minute Silas comes out, you have to look at what else can he steal. The sleep from Lilia isn't the biggest because he has trouble. I don't think he has the easiest time hitting multiple targets.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm assuming it applies the dot and he can.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Sleep the targets. That's an interesting interaction.
Yeah.
And obviously the Oriana ult is actually really bad because it only focuses on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to really put himself in danger.
Yeah.
But the Shen ult is massive. That Silas is matching the Shen in the top lane, I think, is what it's doing. So he can actually follow the Shen. He's playing it the Silas TF matchup, but in top lane.
And we do see a support Galio come out in response.
Yes.
So there's a lot of global ultimates here.
Yeah.
For build different plus Raj to work with, kind of a lot of safety nets, and so Clinto can maybe be a bit more brazen with plays he makes once both those champions hit their level 6. But yeah, interesting comps coming out here. The Silas into the Shen is definitely interesting, because obviously he can try and match the those kind of Shen ulti plays that now will like to make,
Yes.
as well as even if he can get the right angle, even disrupt him from making it, and then do it himself right. So see if he can end up making that happen. Kaisa Nautilus into Senna Galio. Obviously, Kaisa Nautilus has a lot of kill pressure because you can stack up the Kaisa Plasma passive like super quickly with the CC.
Yes.
So maybe Kormiko and Manizu want to try to go more aggressive here in the bot lane, perhaps. But Galio, obviously.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say Galio's like a really good answer into that because you can kind of zone off with the shields around with the massive taunt. And you can kind of turn around with also with Justice Punch and the Q, and you kind of got a lot of all-in damage in return. So I'm very curious to see how this bot lane ends up going.
Yeah, Damsquib, the one thing is Damsquib doesn't get to make quite as many plays, and he has been the skirmishes in the first game and his especially his impact in the second game on the Rel. It's much more reactionary on the Galio. Like you have to wait for them to come into you,
Yep.
and then you press the aura or you taunt. Especially when you're support Galio, so you don't have the damage and you're not quite as tanky. So it is. I think it's a good answer into the knot. Because once the knot hooks in, especially with the way Manchus has been going, he can get punished a lot on this. There's also a decent synergy between Nautilus and Yasuo, between multi-man ores, but there is a very press ore comp right now, I think, on the side of built different press Raj. They have the Oriana ult into the Lily ult with Shenor on Senna or to protect the carries, and then the Galio ult on top of that. You can get a lot of big plays off on it.
Yep, I agree. But we'll see how that goes. But guys, we'll take a quick short break while we're waiting for the Spectre play to catch up. We'll be back to these quite quickly. And we are, guys, into game 3 of Build Different Plus Ravage versus Skeletal in the Server 42 Losers Bracket Final. This is game point here for Build Different Plus Ravage. One more win will secure them into that grand final versus Team Piper Perry.
We have something. We have an invade going on. Oh, Niall. Yeah, he has to burn the flash. He just doesn't take the optimal pathing top side and then takes a step out of the bush, so he just has to burn the flash there.
Yeah, and
Super unfortunate.
No flash and has to take E level 1, which is super rough for lane Shen. For top lane Shen, rather, I should say. Means
Good reaction to level the ult or level the E though.
Yep.
To get him out. He still has to burn the flash anyway, but could have been death otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, does make his life a bit harder for SSB. Oh, in the meantime, a bit of a stepper setup here.
Oh. Yep, and Manchus getting cut out early. That burn flash coming back to haunt him already, and Build Different can just stay here and take the red buff. There's no reason.
Yeah.
It does mean Niall has to be worried because hopefully Krusty Pants does the right thing, which is split the map and goes up and takes Clint's red buffs almost immediately.
Yeah.
He should immediately go and take the top side, which puts Niall on the back foot since he has to be worried about it. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say he's running over towards the Raptor, so is opting into that split map style here. What were we going to say?
One of the interesting things about this is the mid lane, the cleanse on the Yasuo, which is really interesting because maybe he was afraid of the Galio, but you can't cleanse the Orianna ult because it's like an airborne shockwave, so you can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, Trade's going down the bot lane, and Manchus, again, he doesn't want to take those hooks when they're 2 levels down.
Yeah, and also still no flash available to himself, so it is still very vulnerable. But yeah, that, as you said, cleanse definitely a bit of an odd one.
Especially because Clinto can't. Oh, meanwhile, Niall.
Yeah.
Oh, he takes a lot of damage. Yeah, so Silas wins the early because even especially with the E level and I think Twilight Shroud is a Collie's. I can't remember what Shen's auto attack and vulnerability ability is.
Yeah, the Twilight Shroud definitely would help him in this instance. But so usually, I think in top lane you usually go QW first, just so you can trade a lot more easily. So he is going to get bullied out quite a bit here by SLB, especially with no flash available.
And Clinto is looking for something, but they don't have there's no CC between Clinto and Fluky in the level 1. And Boppler should have his wind wall, so he just needs to block the siege from. Meanwhile, another trade. Manchus just getting caught out again.
Oh, barely
dies to the ignite.
Another kill for Dan Squib. Definitely having a pretty strong showing this series so far. Definitely getting the better of Manitou and he's all in. Krusty is looking for a dive.
They're just diving Niall. And Krusty Pants has to take the aggro, but yeah, that's actually a great call by Krusty Pants and SLB. Jumped the gun a little bit, but meanwhile in the mid lane, he blocks the seed with the wind wall, which is exactly what he needs.
Yeah, well played by Boppler and good play up top lane. You definitely, with this, the size pick is definitely a statement of intent, right? You're looking to really kind of try to give SLB big leads here, give him a pick that can try to carry off of. And you have to support that, especially when you get that free advantage with the flash and the E level 1 on the Shen. You kind of have to snowball off of that, otherwise you're going to see stuff like bot lane happening now. 2 deaths on Manitou very early on. Obviously, both kills going to Dan Squib isn't the greatest. So it's not like it's the biggest gold lead in the world given over to Build Different Plus Ravage. But it's still putting them in a winning position. They'll have more pressure in the lane against Cormico, and you definitely want to send the lead and maybe just try to get pressure elsewhere on the map.
One thing to note is SLB will hit level 6 a good bit before Nile because of how much CS Nile lost there due to the dive. So he'll actually have the Shen ult before Shen himself. So they might look. they might look for something with the level 6, immediately try and make use of a bot.
Yeah.
But that would take a good bit of coordination. But maybe because he's about a level ahead, a level of XP ahead. I checked,
Just
and
hit
there's
level
there's
6
the
now.
6. So
Yeah.
you should just take it straight away, and just immediately push this in. Unfortunately, there's no one in the bot lane or even in mid lane. So I do hope SLB will make use of this advantage and try and make use of it in another lane, but he's not even going to steal the ult, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe he thinks he's going to give away the game too much. Look, they're looking to clear this ward first here on top, so before, of course, he makes possibly another dive. But yeah, they're just going to go back to wave farming. Maybe you'll see SB take it now. But there's no real plays being made kind of anywhere on the map, right? They're not in position to make one, so there's not anything you can necessarily do with the Shen ulti with the way all the teams are positioned. And honestly, Clinton's just coming at the dragon for free.
Yeah, they have wards. They should be able to check this. At least ward it over the wall. They don't. All the wards are on cooldown.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just get it for free. And again, just splitting the map once again. Jamscrib doing exactly what he did in the first 2 games. He just walks around with Clinto and makes sure he can just do all this stuff after the advantages they get in the bot lane.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff in the games have come off the pressure in bot lane, where
Yeah.
Manchus and Cormaco just can't react.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like blue side comp is a lot easier to execute on. They kind of have a bit more scaling in their pockets. So conceding early dragons like this is definitely going to be scary for Skeletal, who kind of definitely need to be looking to like execute on these kind of strong kind of picks that they've set up for themselves, but that don't necessarily function as a 5v5 unit. So Butler looking to go aggressive here. That doesn't end up getting too much done though.
Fluky does have to be super careful about his placement of his ball placement later on, because Bopper can just completely stunt his ball placement and his ore. So if Fluky like Q ores with the expectation of hitting a couple of people and it hits the wind wall, it's happened to me a lot of times, more times than I can count, which is why I'm worried about it for him.
Manitou does spot out Clinto here on the Krugs, so they know the dive is probably coming. To see if they end up trying to defend their tower or they're just back off. Looks like they're just backing off.
This is where Shen... Silas SLB still hasn't grabbed the Shen ore, which is really interesting. I don't know why he's waiting, because he's not going to grab Galio or Senna, and he doesn't want to grab Oriana or the Lilia, so I don't know why he's waiting. He definitely wants to grab it here, and what he does is Krusty Pants takes aggro.
No, they end up botching that completely. Krusty almost going down headlong.
The same thing happened last time, where he jumped the gun just 5 seconds too early, which the dive should be happening now with the crash wave.
Yeah.
And then Niall either has to leave or he has to risk the death.
Ooh, SB taking a couple of shots there for his trouble, so...
I'm very confused why SLB isn't taking the Shen ore. It's one of the best ores or ultimates to take in the game. And again, Damscrib gets his Oi in, but Cormaco uses his ult to dodge the taunt.
Yeah.
Tedblond is boom, so
they could have used it proactively, like Cormaco and Manitou could just like go in earlier and have the backup of a Shen or with them, as you're saying. But now they're just gonna get Dolan into their own turret. Both bot lanes are gonna go down there, so.
And I don't know if Manchus expected to kill Tedblond there. Maybe he expected him to auto him and take aggro off the turret. But yeah, like that dive never happens if SLB has the Shen ore, because he can use it proactively in the previous skirmish. Damscrib jumps on Manchus and then Cormaco can ore in, or he can just ore onto Manchus with the Shen ore. Yeah, it's really weird, because I thought that was the point of the pick, was
Mhm.
you see the Shen, you pick the Silas into it, and you can match him constantly.
Yeah.
But it seems to be just Krusty is just keeps trying to. He's almost over forcing the pressure on top.
Yeah. I mean, there is a
SB,
substantial lead in terms of like CS built up here, but yeah, it's more like they're getting individual leads on SLB, which is not necessarily what Silas is. I mean, he can be strong, obviously, but
Oh.
he's golden too.
Krusty Pants is in. Oh, the Phaser's flash though should get him out. No,
Wendy has
he's
pushback,
slowed
so
by the seed. He dies.
yeah, I mean, they're not utilizing um, the pressure correctly that the
Yes.
Silas should be giving here. They're as you said, Krusty's kind of overforcing here on these top lane plays. Meanwhile, Niall managed to get that that Shen ulti earlier to get the utility out of his champion. So he's I don't think he really cares that he's 25 CS down. Now his turret is almost down, so there is like a lot of gold funnels into SLP, but I don't think it's enough to justify the amount of time Krusty spent up here.
And Niall's build is slightly more stunted. Oh, this is what we expected, but with the Shenor. Oh, beautiful! Yeah, they catch Teblond, and they can just go in, and SOB actually has the Lily ult still from the previous fight. And Cormaco greeted for the autos. He could have just walked away and lived.
So
But that was the fight we expected, but with Shenor.
Yeah, so it will end up being a 1-for-2 there for Skeletal.
And oh, don't take it! Don't take it!
Oh no, man, dude. Does barely get away with that. He's quite low. Should just back off here.
Yeah, Boppler and Krusty Pants need to leave. The Orianna ult. They know it's been a while since it was used in the top lane, so it's coming back up.
So no TP, no global ultimates for either side here. So Dragon not being contested, even though I think honestly, Butter from Radish could have gone for that, right? Like there was a lot committed by Skeletal for that bot lane play, and there was no HP on the Nautilus, so they definitely could have just rushed it. It looks like they are going to go for
There's
it now.
pings coming down on it now. Yeah, they saw the Krusty Pants take the blue. So once he shows in the top side, they know they have to. They know they can take it for pretty much free. But even then, Manchus and Cormaco, despite being 10 sets behind on the ADC, the kills on. Oh, and more fights going down the top. Yeah, the SB just wins them, even with the grievous wounds. The Executioner's calling on Niall
Yeah, so he will
to
get
stunt the
himself
healing.
the top turret. Obviously, does have a big, massive spike in power with the Everfrost. So it's kind of gone for more kind of utility all in, I guess, with that item. I haven't seen too much Silas, so I don't know exactly what his main build is, but I think that makes a lot of sense to me.
I think it's usually Leandri's for the burst. He doesn't make the best use, or not Leandri, sorry, Ludens, my apologies. Ludens for the burst, yeah.
If our resident Silas player, our colleagues in chat, let us know. But in the meantime, yeah, I mean, the gold's not too far apart. It is only like barely 1k gold for build plus Raj. So they aren't massively behind. Again, SLP having the majority of that gold lead for himself, or difference for himself. So we'll see if he can make that work, possibly as maybe some sort of split push threat, and maybe someday we'll take it channeled, we hope. We'll see if that ends up happening or not.
And Boppler and Fluky have been trading a lot. Oh, great Orianna ults, but I don't think it matters because there's 4 of them here. Yeah, and SB finally used the Shen ults on top of the all-in, but they managed to turn it because Orianna just did so much. Kanto put them to sleep, but I don't know what he was expecting there. They had no wave, so he couldn't go in. But yeah, great turnaround. Fluky managing to get the damage off and keep everyone there mid lane long enough for the Galio to come in and the Lilia to respond.
Yeah, for sure. So just checking, just wanted to check real quick where the gold was at now. So there is a 2k lead up in top lane, so SLB is definitely trying to put in as much work as possible. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Teblond has built up a 1.4k gold lead for himself, the turret going down, so he's going to be pretty happy with that. Scaling up pretty nicely with the Senna, has the Mythic done with the Kraken's there, I should say. I am curious about the Chirelias on the Galio. Looks like Dansquiv has opted into the kind of the cheaper, more kind of squishy version of the sort of engage tool you can pick up supports.
Yes.
I know when I run Galio support, I kind of prefer the Chem Tank, even though it's a bit more expensive to invest in. It's not too bad because of how they kind of buffed it a little while ago.
Almost Deadman's, I think, is probably one of the better ones. That's what I see first item on Rel. Even though it's not a mythic,
Yeah.
it accomplishes the same job for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Um,
Obviously, Chirelias, I think, gives movement speed to a party, right? So maybe it's more.
yes.
So maybe that's more the idea. You're trying to get your team more in position for engages or disengages. So content there. I think that's fine.
I just the Shirley's is just why you'd pick the Galio, which has to run in like that when you can just pick like some other supports that have a lot of easier time engaging.
Yeah, I mean he's
like
definitely more of a disengaged champion, but you can't make disengage work. Yeah, like right now
the seed misses, but Manchus. Oh, another great ult from Fluky. Oh, and I think that's SLB with the Galio ult. It's great combo actually to match the globals, but they've dove a bit far, unfortunately. And Tedblon just getting run down by Krusty Pants, but he gets the blast cone out.
Yeah, Ted.
Did Nile have ult for that whole thing? I just seen that.
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I would assume he wouldn't have. So they do get punished a little bit for that. SB did, and Bopper did die for the troubles though. So turrets end up trading. So gold still definitely in favor of Builder plus Rush. And yeah, the thing I found funny seeing that was the positioning by Ted Blond, who was like on the right flank in the river, and he point blanked ulted the entire enemy team, but then just got chased off by Krusty for ages, right? And only barely got away because of the blast plant. So maybe a bit of greedy positioning from Ted Blond. Didn't get punished for it this time, but something to watch out for as the game progresses.
Skeletal are in position for this Drake, but I think they should have this for free, but we'll see how they can test. They have perfect vision control and they're all 5 here, and Nile has ults. Oh, but Built Different are looking to contest this. Bottler needs to stack his Q onto the... Oh, and they just all jump onto Clinto. But he lives! He lives with the Galio shields. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And also, you got the shields and the heals coming out from the Senna too.
Tedblond, yeah. They don't need to protect Tedblonds. If they all jump on Clinto, they can do that. It is, as I said, a more protect the carry comp, but Clinto and Tedblond or Clinto is actually the carry, not Tedblond in this game.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely the assist king here, 1 in 10. Mr. Tedblond, definitely doing damage. Obviously, the spell plus Senna can be quite nasty. They are pushing into mid turret here with very low amount of minions. Definitely want to back off of this.
No, the Shirley is getting them all out. They actually can't chase it down once it's used. But even they're really having trouble now because Built Different they're getting their second items now. They're all backing for their second items, and they let all their shields and everything all their abilities to protect the carries come online. But we saw even at the 12-minute mark when they were still Skeletal were still behind, they could still win bot lane. we finally saw SLB use the ult, and they were able to like actually match despite being behind. So I just hope to see it sooner, but he has the ults and the globals to match Nile with um, Galio and the Shen ults, but as we see fights going in the top lane and
It's
SOB. Yeah.
So, bit of an unfortunate takeoff here. Does gives Skeletal in a bit more of a hole now, as Baron is available here for the different strategies to kind of push up. They've also hit a lot of their big spikes, so I see deck cap complete for Fluky on the Oriana. You see that
The Medjay.
the Medjay is being stacked towards by Clinto, already 14 stacks on that, and also the Rage Blades for the Senna. So they're all in a really strong position right now to kind of force a fight here in the Baron.
The death cap is a second item is super questionable. So one thing they changed with all the items is that the actual AP every item gives you is actually decreased by about 10 or 20 depending on the item.
Yeah.
And then the increased, we say this as their starting Baron, which Skeletal know about. They were rotating bot, but they're switching it off. They need to be super careful. He has the SOB has the Oriana ults, but I think he almost wants the Galli ults. Oh, and another great Oriana ult, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that is a doozy of a wombo coming out from Built Full Trash.
Cormaco didn't even get to the river.
So, all things he gets away from in here, what rest of it's a Baron. It's not the fastest Baron picking in the world, especially when you don't have your Lilia shredding it. So, there's the cons coming out here from Built Full Trash, but I don't think it ultimately matters. But I don't think he gets even the inhibitor tower for this. Maybe he just barely does. No, doesn't get that, so.
No, he just crashes the wave and takes the jungle.
So yeah, I mean, another big fight going out from Build Stretch. 10k gold at 22 minutes. It's insane. Definitely.
Oh, and is Cormac gonna get cupped? Yeah. Oh no, he has the Gale Force. Oh, the sleep is still up, and Clinto falls. Oh, or sorry, Cormaco falls, but Clinto does give a 700 gold shutdown, or 400 gold plus the 300.
Yeah, Clinto having a bit of fun, being a bit loose there. Gets the 1v1 kill, but does give up a Baron buff for Troubles, which kind of delays his team's push. Potentially could upset the soul point here, as they are trying to get themselves this Melting Soul. But Skeletal should be able to push into the river here. They have mana advantage, but they're actually sorry. Cormaco only just respawned, so they were just 4v4. That's correct. So maybe they're just a bit anxious to try and push up with even numbers.
Tedblunt is in the top side. Cormaco can't go up to Mash Nile. He started to, but he. Oh, if he goes up to Mash Nile, then that's as good as giving soul points. They need to match this. They had control of the river, but they just kind of gave it. They just waited till Clinto was up, and now they're posturing for this 4v4, but it's a 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, Cormaco.
The top laner is Shen.
Yeah. Nile can just ult in here if the fight breaks out, and then they just have big man advantage with so much gold in their pockets.
They're looking for the steal. Oh. No, and SLB stole Sen ult and then went right in. And Krusty Pant dies trying to get the steal, and Bopper caught out of position in the bot side.
Yeah.
Again. This is just looking super grim, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that should be more or less game at this point. Like, it's along with dead timers, with Baron buff here in mid lane, they'll at least lose their inhibitor.
With the Yasuo and we talked a lot about the misuse, I think, of the Silas top side, particularly the Shen ores. But the Yasuo was something as well that we expected when you pick Yasuo or anything like that, something the more spicier of the mid laners. Oh, meanwhile, another fight. They got get onto Ted Blonde, but they're already max health. And Cormac go.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're just taking
Bopper
really
trying his best, but they have Earthstone now, so he's just can't get through them. Oh, oh, that's actually a really good Galio ult from SLB.
does delay the end of the game.
Oh, and another good hook from Anxious, but they just have so much trouble getting through this Earth Soul with all their shields. Because like this is super scary. It's like they have to get through the Earth's shields, and then they have to get through Command Protect, and they just get Manxious again. To get through the Galio shields. Oh, SLB trying his best. They should get Glinto here, but he could get out. No, more shields. Oh, Teblond, yes, he does go down. But it's just Cormaco left to defend the base.
Yeah, I mean, they're still trying to force him here. Push him open 5 seconds.
He should kill the wave, but the next wave is coming in. Oh, they do get the final Nexus turret down.
Okay, so it looks like
And
after
Clinto is full health.
He's full health. He has the red buff.
He was 200 HP after that fight.
There is ulti available for the Shen as well, so they can join into this fight, and it looks like they're force the end.
Yeah, it's an exposed Nexus, and SOB is still up in only 7 seconds. They just preempt the Shen ult, and they're just gonna walk it in. And yeah, Skeletal have just given the Nexus. Oh no, they have not.
One last rock here, but
They fight to their dying breath. And I don't know if Damn Squib is the person you want to focus here, but Build Different is actually super scattered.
yeah.
And
I
they're
don't think it's gonna
trying to get onto the Nile.
It's just basically kills him here on Shen.
Yeah. And oh. The Earth Soul is not what you wanted as a Yasuo.
Yeah.
And we should see the third and final game is the first time we actually see the Nexus go down.
Yeah. Well, sort
Mostly.
Of. Mostly.
We got there.
But yeah, I mean, clean series overall coming out from Build Different plus Raj. Skeletal in the first game looked pretty strong. Had some good kind of early proactive plays, but kind of as the series went on, definitely kind of over-egged things a little bit in certain points, especially with Krusty around top lane, it felt like. And yeah, I think Build Different plus Raj were kind of the cleaner of the two teams with kind of different styles of compositions. So definitely deserving winners. They will progress now on to the best of 5 final versus Team Piper Perry, the rematch from earlier on in the series, which I'm super excited to see because they'll be between two very good junglers of Burn Pope and Clinto.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah, so that will be very interesting to see.
If the jungle nerfs come in by then, it'll actually be. They come in tomorrow, I think.
That is true. So we could see a very different game and very different picks come out by the time that series happens.
Yep.
But yeah, going back to this on series, man, for this third and final game, who would you give your player of the game to?
I'll give it to Fluky in the final game. There was a lot of wombo combos, but Fluky bought a lot of time. He got, I think, almost all of his ults were 3-man ults at the very minimum.
Okay.
So it let the Galio get in position to bought time for the Shen. Really, it's who is most important in the first 15 minutes, because after that the game was a bit of a wash. Yeah. So I think Fluky survived 2 or 3 fights that he shouldn't have died in by getting the ores off and managing to survive, even if he built the wrong second item, which is.
I mean, if he had the gold to buy for it, why not? You know, obviously there are good reasons to not do that, but we won't get into that right now. Anyway, congratulations to Built If Plus Raj. Commiserations to Skeletal. They had a pretty good tournament, finding their way back through the losers bracket to get to this point. But yeah, nice series to watch. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Zeno, for joining me tonight. And
yes,
we'll talk to you guys next time.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Good luck.